What's going on, reefers? Blaine here. One of the pieces of equipment we have so desperately wanted here in the aquarium industry has been a reliable frozen fish food feeder. Of course, not just a feeder that's dispensing dry food, but the dream of dispensing frozen fish food reliably into our aquariums. Well, potentially that dream has just come true, and today we're going to take a better look at the InD Aquatics aF4 frozen fish food feeder. You're not going to want to miss this one. Watch all the way through, and let's dive in. One thing we have longed for in the aquarium hobby is a reliable way to feed frozen food automatically, whether we are trying to keep our fish happily fed throughout the course of the day, especially those harder to keep species that require multiple feedings, or we're heading out on vacation and having to say goodbye to our reef tank and we need a proper way to be able to actively feed them while we're gone. Say goodbye to those worries, because today we're going to be talking about the newest addition to the aquarium industry, the aF4 automatic frozen fish food feeder. Let's get to understand the aF4 a little bit more and take some look at some of the specs before we get into the details. The size of the unit is as follows: 5.87 inches by 5.39 inches by 6.85 inches. As for the amount of food the unit can hold, it has a max capacity of 200 milliliters, which equates to roughly 40 or so cubes of frozen food. The maximum time in between refills is roughly 21 days, equaling 3 weeks of feeding capacity. This, of course, will be dependent on the temperature it is kept at and the amount being dosed, but we will go into more detail about that here in a minute. The temperature range for the food can be kept between 30.2 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit or -1 to 5 degrees Celsius. The dosing tubing included as well is 6 feet in length and is 6.7 millimeters, making it easier for the pump to dose all of your favorite frozen foods up to 6 millimeters in size. Now, where the aF4 stands above the rest is the fact that you create your own slurry that will be then dosed into your aquarium. The way the slurry is created is by adding in your frozen food and also add in salt water as well. We recommend your salt water to be mixed at full salinity, if not a little bit higher, to ensure the slurry does not freeze over in the unit. This makes it easier for the internal peristaltic pump to be able to actively dose the slurry into your tank with ease. One thing that really excites me about the aF4 is the fact that it automatically flushes out the lines post-feeding to ensure no leftover food is stuck in the lines, and uses water from your reef tank. This was always a concern I personally had, and the fact that they have figured that out helps keep every feeding that comes in from the aF4 as fresh as the last one. The other great thing about the feeder is that it can utilize a wide range of foods that have to be kept refrigerated, such as reef nutrition, reef genetics, and much more. Just make sure when you're creating your slurry to get it well mixed together so that it can easily dose the mixture. Included is the rimless tank bracket, which works on tanks up to a ½ inch thick. There are basically 2 ways to dose the food to your tank. The first being the obvious and dosing it straight into the display tank itself. On the other hand, if you have a tank with a sump, you could actively dose the food into your return pump chamber and have the return pump send it into your aquarium. Located on the back bottom of the unit is a condensation tray, which will hold any excess condensation that's created, but for the most part, this area should remain dry. Now that we've talked about the unit itself, let's talk about how to set it up and how to start dosing food into your aquarium. When you get the unit plugged in and powered on, the unit will program itself to dispense food at that exact time. So say you turned it on at 3 p.m., the feeder will dispense food 24 hours later at 3 p.m. and continue to do so moving forward. The first set of buttons at the top of the unit helps change the time you would like to feed your reef tank. There is a +2 -2 and a +4 -4, giving you the option to go forward or backward 2 to 4 hours from the time the unit was turned on and you have set to feed your tank. Below the time offset buttons are the feed quantity buttons, with a range from 5 being the lowest to 50 being the highest. 5 milliliters is roughly the size of an average frozen cube of fish food. Under the feed quantity buttons will be the temperature settings, with the snowflake being the coldest and the high button being the warmest setting. The warmest setting will only be used for specific situations, and the recommendation from the manufacturer for most reef keepers is to utilize the snowflake or the first button as their temperature setting. The 3 buttons located all the way at the bottom of the unit are the following. The Feed Now button, which will dispense the set amount of food that you have normally dosed into the aquarium, allowing you to be able to feed whenever you'd like outside of your dosing schedule. This also is useful to use in the initial startup of the unit on your tank to help prime itself before its first feeding that will be scheduled 24 hours from the setup time. Next, we see the Auto Clean button. It's important to note that the Auto Clean button is not to be used when there is food in the reservoir, because if you do so and you push the button, the entirety of the reservoir will be dumped into your aquarium. The real meaning for it is to be used in between reservoir refillings to help clean out the system and purge out any leftover food. It is also to be used when looking to do a deep clean utilizing one of the aF4 cleaning tabs. And then obviously the power button that we mentioned earlier that's going to turn on the unit. Now, if you were wondering if you were able to set up the aF4 for multiple feedings throughout the day, it is possible due to it being 0 to 10 volt compatible, meaning you can get an adapter and get it hooked up to the controller of your choice, whether it be a Neptune Systems Apex or a Hydros controller. They currently have a video on their own channel where they give a step-by-step guide on how to do so. If you do not have a controller, there is still the capability of adding on more feedings with the Connect InD accessory, or by just buying the connected unit directly from our site. Having this gives you the ability to connect to Wi-Fi and set up multiple feedings and times, but has the ability to also utilize voice control to feed your system, such as Google Home, Alexa Voice, or Siri. If there are ever issues with the unit not being able to reach its goal temperature, there are built-in safety features which include both a visual and audible alarm that the unit is failing to get to temperature. This is to make sure you do not feed spoiled food to your reef tank, which again is a very nice and needed feature for the aF4. InD also has decided to create a slew of accessories that you can shop as well that are currently available on our website, including a cleaning kit, reservoir reload kit, and much more. One accessory that is almost a must has to be the cleaning kit, because it makes maintaining the aF4 much simpler. With the included 2 brushes, you can really get in there and ensure you're cleaning out the unit properly and giving it a nice deep clean from time to time, which will help greatly increase the longevity of the unit itself. Included in the cleaning kit is the following: large reservoir brush, small tube brush, and 4 cleaning tablets. InD Aquatics also offers for the aF4 unit a 1-year warranty from date of purchase. In conclusion, ultimately, this could be a huge game changer for the reef aquarium industry. I'm really excited, honestly, myself, to get one of these onto my tank at home and to be able to test it out. And I'm going to be coming back and revisiting it in a couple months to give you guys a well-balanced review. I want to be able to try it out myself and give you guys an honest and respectful review. If you guys are interested in picking up anything from the InD Aquatics line or just the fish food feeder itself, be sure to head over to the website now, shop the entire InD Aquatics collection, and if you guys have hung out all the way till the end, I want to say thank you very much. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future uploads.